Now that we've installed the CSS3 mobile pack, let's take the CSS Properties extension out for a spin. So to get yourself started, what I need you to do is to open a blank document. Doesn't matter what size it is. What I've got open here is a 400 by 400 canvas. And what we're going to do is we're just going to create a simple button. The CSS Properties only works with single objects. You can't have multiple objects and then hope that you can put out like an entire page of CSS. Single objects. But if you can output the single object, you can do it with multiple objects on a page and build a CSS-based layout from those objects. So let's create a small little button here. Come over to the Tools panel, select the Rectangle tool, and I'm going to give this rectangle a linear gradient. And you can choose the color, so I'm going to go with a black to a light purple. And you just draw out rectangle, just like that. And now that we've drawn out the rectangle, we're going to put a stroke around it. So we'll use a 1 pixel soft stroke. And I'm going to give it some roundness. One of the great things about CSS3 is that you can actually add shadows and roundness and things like that, and it will actually draw it for you. So we'll just take the roundness up. We'll take it up to 10 pixels. That's right here in the property panel. So we've got 10 pixel roundness. You can see there it is there. And if you want to make it a little bit bigger, we'll take it up to, I'm going to take mine up to 20 because it's a big button. There we go. And let's add a drop shadow to it just to be whizzy. We add the drop shadow and there it is. And what we've got here now is an object with a drop shadow. And how do we get this object into CSS? Very simple. Select the object. This only works with individual objects. Now you can have a page that you've designed, sort of like some of the pages we've designed throughout this course, and just select the individual objects and start building your CSS style sheet from those objects. So you come to the window menu, extensions, and there it is right there, CSS Properties. And when you select the object, you can see that the properties are listed up at the top here. And the whole list of properties are at the bottom here. This is actually what's going to be going over to the CSS style. And you'll notice that what it does is it takes into account the various browsers and what they need to do to render this object. Now, one of the things that you can do here is you can actually select individual properties. We'll just say, we'll go down right down to the border style. And you'll notice that the selected button lights up. Now, what this does is when you click on a button, it actually copies it to the clipboard. Now, we're not going to do this. We're going to copy the whole thing. So we'll just click the All button. And the code now, the CSS code at the bottom, is now sitting in the clipboard. And by the way, this button here is the refresh button. So that means that you can make changes to your object as you work through it. And click the refresh button and the properties will change to reflect your changes. So how do we get this thing to work in an HTML page? Well, let's pop over to Dreamweaver and figure that one out right now. So I've got Dreamweaver open here. I'm not going to create a new HTML page. I'm going to go to the More button. You'll see why in a second. What we want is a blank page. The page type is going to be HTML, and the layout, we don't need any of these layouts. We'll just go with none. And the doc type we're going to use is HTML5. That makes life so much easier for the universe. Click Create, and you'll see that I'm in split view. You can go to code view if you want. I prefer to work in split. That way I can see what I'm working with over here in the design panel, and over here I can see the code. Now, the first thing we've got to do is insert a div for our button. So we'll just come over to the Insert panel, insert a div tag, and we're going to call this class Fireworks Button. And we'll just put it at the insertion point, of course. And you click the New CSS Rule. And this opens up a new CSS rule that will be applied to the open page. And you just click OK. Okay, so you notice the selector's right there. Click OK. And the selector shows up right there in the code view. You don't need to do anything else. Just click OK. And you're going to come back to the Insert Div tag. Click OK. And how do we get the class in there, or the stuff on the clipboard in there? Just press the return key after the curly brace here for the FW button. Paste, Control V, or Command V if you're on a Mac. The stuff on the clipboard comes in, as you can see. It's also commented, which is kind of nice. And you click the refresh, and there's the button right there. It doesn't look like much. Now there's some text over it, and let's get rid of that text because it can be a little distracting. So we'll just come down here to the div class, and we'll just pull the text out of that. Just select it, delete, click refresh, text is gone. And you're seeing this big gray box here. Well, if you go to live view, it turns into our button from Fireworks. So there you go. That's how you can actually create CSS properties in Fireworks and actually add them to an HTML page. Now, this one here, of course, is being added right directly into the HTML page, but you could just as easily add this to an external style sheet. So in this example, what I've done is I've shown you how to create a button. And remember, it's individual objects. So if you have text over this, you're going to either have to choose the button or the text. It will not give you the CSS properties for multiple selections. You select your object, click the All button to move it to the clipboard, come over to Dreamweaver, create your ID and your div, paste the code in, go to Live View, and there is your button.